the story of fried chicken. They did a thing on A&E, on the History Channel, on foods, how foods immigrated to this country. When they got the fried chicken, they said well, they had to go to slave historians to tell the story. They said, well, you know, they started frying the shit, the slaves started doing it. They perfected it, you know. Maybe some French people taught them, you know, they fry everything in France, but the slave people are the ones that perfected the fried chicken. And they said it had something to do, they said, well, later on be something that would save us doing segregation. They said, because we couldn't go into certain places to eat. So when we was on the road, the black women would take a shoebox, put the chicken in it, and a banana or apple or something that's non-perishable. And chicken, once you cook it, shit, it's got a shelf life for 100 years. You know what I mean? All that damn Crisco Lords. So they would take that chicken and put up in there, and that would be a person's meal, and that saved people all doing segregation. So it's a spirit thing. But who would ever know that this got something to do with the Christ energy? You say, huh, what's that?
But biochemically, chicken is the largest source of Ritalin that you can get.
Oh.
So it's a food source, it's a chemical source to keep you from stressing out under very harsh conditions.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting here because the Egyptians never said that drugs were bad. They just said only drugs are bad. So the white boy saying, no, pharmaceutical company saying all you need is drugs. So they outlawed the vitamins and stuff. But the whole chemical thing, we invented that thing, you know what I'm saying? And tapped into that. But I just want to put that particular part there. But then again, Mithra is supposed to be born in a cave on December the 25th. You heard Jesus born in a cave. No, Mithra was born in a cave. What's the mystery of that? The cave represents the deepest part of the subconscious mind. He also, Mithra, slaved the bull. What is the bull? The bull represents the physical body. Once it be enslaved, which means you throw off the physical body into a glorified spirit. So in so many words what they're saying, and when it comes to this December 25th, which, now I do believe what Dick Gregory said about this. Now this is a day when niggas pig out when you really shouldn't be pigging out on that day. Because according to the Mithra mythology, in so many millennia in the future, which is now, they say that Mithra or Christ will be born in a cave. Well, Christ born in a cave metaphysically is the pineal gland illuminating in the subconscious region of the brain. So, on December the 25th. So apparently, they got people all depressed by buying these gifts. You know what I'm saying? Buying these gifts. They got people, you know, all depressed and people eating all this food. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. So, this is something to retard the process of when this thing appears, and it could appear in the December 25th, it really, the date don't really thing. They're talking about the winter solstice. So it can be from the 21st on into New Year's. But the point here is, when this thing happens, this is where they got everybody all pigged out. So it don't necessarily mean you don't have to eat that day. You don't necessarily have to fast, but you don't supposed to goddamn gorge yourself. You see what I'm saying? And the best way to do that is just stay from around your kinfolks. That day, tell them you got struck folk or something. But the point I'm trying to make here is, he's born in a cave that day, but he throws off the bull. That is a porthole in a gateway. That winter solstice is a porthole in a gateway where something might very well happen. You getting this thing? Where something might very well happen. Now, before we go to the break, I want to show you some things. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because we got some more stuff to deal with. I introduced this the last time, which I introduced this the last time, which is a picture of a woman dancing with a chicken when you get up close, and she's sacrificed the chicken. She's possessed by the goddess Urzuli. And she sacrificed the chicken and they eat it later or whatever. But she's dancing with this chicken. And anyway, it's the spirit of Azuli. This thing is so powerful. I've been selling these things since I came out, since October. And let me tell you, there's some shit done happened with this one here. Then you want to get hot and heavy, purchase you one of these right here. Might reinvigorate your old relationship. Or you never know what might happen. One brother got this and Azuli came and was getting down with it. He kind of got a little jolted there. He kind of backed off a little bit. I was like, man, don't you know when she come like that, when the spirits come and have sex with you, they revitalize your whole cells and organs. So so this is a real powerful picture. And we got all these for $5. I just want to show you some things right here. Now, when I think last year I was telling you about how me and the sister Linda and the sister Kimberly down in Atlanta, we went to see an Egyptian exhibit, the Splendors of Egypt. And they had this Egyptian doorway. And they say, the doorway is walled up. It's not for you to go through astrally. But look into the doorway, not for you to go through physically, for you to go through astrally. Look into the doorway and go through it astrally. And when we did that, we looked into that doorway and we started cleaning out the next day. And we started going to another level. All kinds of things started happening. You see what I'm saying? Now, somebody got a Pac-Man thing going on. Now, so as a result, I said, man, I wish I had that doorway. I could do some magic stuff with that doorway. So the spirit said, because it was a priestess of Heru. So she said, well, you got the temple of Dendera, which has a doorway on it. Sell that. So I sold that for a year. Some people have some good stuff. It depends on how you get your mind. A lot of you just don't believe, so it don't work magically. You got to pour out all that old crazy stuff. So, lo and behold, spiritually, lo and behold, this is what happened. This is what happened. Had a friend working down at Georgia State down in Atlanta on the campus, and looked, and they had an old room with a bunch of old books. He broke in that door and got a bunch of old German books, about 70 years old. And brought them to the crib, and lo and behold, in the books, they had the damn doors. The same one that was in the museum I said that I needed to get, the Spirit brought it to me the next year. Literally around the same time I went and looked through the thing. So we have these doors. I reproduced one. It's two guys standing, and in the middle is a walled-up door, which means you go through it astrally. The Spirit said, keep on looking in the book because there's some other doors. And so this is another one. It's a little open, but these are the same doorways. These things have magical powers. So you need to get your hands on these. All right. We have the great lovers, Lakshmi and Vishnu, hooked up. You see what I'm saying? And I showed you this the last time when I was in I showed you this when I was in Virginia. Some people that came up to Virginia, and I showed you this particular picture. And funny thing happened. We had a Lakshmi and Vishnu hookup. That happened to be manifesting right in the middle of y'all, right? We put a nigga on the spot. Anyway, they done hooked up and been inseparable. You see what I'm saying? You know. I think he done changed his name to damn Vishnu. Anyway, this brother TJ, you'll see him at the beginning of my tapes. The last one I did called The Rise of the Ancient DNA. As a result, I reproduced this one of Vishnu, the black man. I talk about the black man chilling. And you can tell this is the god Vishnu, the god of the universe. But he's chilling, sleeping, and this woman is down here, Lakshmi, rubbing his feet. Got that whole foot thing going on there. Rubbing his feet. And he's chilling, and they got the sister just like a black man, you know what I'm saying? Woman do all the work. He's chilling. But anyway, let you know that's your birthright to be chilling. So never let them call you shiftless no more. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Now, I got that. Now, as a result, and I'm going to talk about these when I come back, this is the goddess Kuan Yin. She's a female Buddha and the god of compassion, the goddess of compassion. So she came back at the end of October and she said, I'm coming. Because I asked Lynn, I said, Kuan Yin trying to contact me? And she said, yeah. And then the sister Kimberly, I said, the Kuan Yin trying to come? She said, yeah. I said, well, do you want me to go buy a statue? She said, no, I want a picture. So I looked at all my stuff to get a picture. And I remember going to get to see, they got the ones, but this was a rare one here where she's just chilling on her booty. You know, like saying, this was how a black woman would be chilling. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that, you know, all cantankerous and shit. You see, you know, all that shit there is fake for her now. She gonna be doing this shit right here. You know what I'm saying? You know, she chilling and stuff, but you don't know whether she getting ready to put a dagger in your behind or whatever. Or she got that 38 back there under that dress and shit. You gonna pop a cap in your ass. You just don't know because of that black woman. So this is how she would be chilling. So what happened is spiritual. So I was looking for the traditional ones of Kuan Yin. And you need to get with this brother to get that functionary book when you get a chance. Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir.
You can get with him during the break and make and get a hold of that functionary. It's very key and it's needed for these particular times. It's got everything in the damn book. Motherfucker did a book, put everything in. Ain't got a bitch. How do you do that shit? You know, like goddamn, what you don't have up in this motherfucker. Anyway, the yellow pages. Anyway, so she came and she said, I said, oh, you want a picture because you want me to give them to the audience. Now, that means if you're in some trouble or you need some mercy, when a goddess comes to come and say she wants to get an order, that means this is one you need to pick up because you never know. She's a God of compassion. You know what I'm saying? You know how when you up in front of that judge and shit, and ain't no way around, and then I got your own camera and shit, got your name signed somewhere. You get that cracker fall on the mercy of the court. Here, so you need some Kuan Yin. So she came, and what happened was, I said, well, why? I was looking for the traditional one, and there was a book I bought in Chicago, paid $50 for the book, $40 or $50, and walked outside of the door, and the book, the binding fell apart. And I was like, man, I needed the pictures in the book, so as a result, I looked through all the book, and I couldn't find one. The very last page was this one, of Kuan Yin. So this is very spiritual. You need to get a hold of this. Another thing is this god, Sarasvati. I talk about Lakshmi, but Sarasvati is the god of writing, magic, music, the arts, and spiritual higher levels. Right here is an ancient statue I tried to get of her, and you can't see it. She's playing what is called a sitar, which is an Indian guitar, although this statue is broke. The round part is broken off because it's a very ancient statue. I paid $90 for this book.
Bobby, she's playing a vina.
Huh?
A vina.
She's a what?
She's playing
a vina. A vina. Okay, cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rescue me. A vina. It's one of them ancient guitars. A rhythm stick. You know what that shit is. So now, she's the god of knowledge, learning, music, and higher levels. She's on the scene. But all the pictures I get of her, she's all white because the East Indians got a psychological thing that they want to be white. The northern ones. They got black ones down there, blue-black. They got more dark-skinned Indians in India that look this sister color than any place on the earth other than Africa, outside of Africa. Is in damn India. Dark-skinned ones, revolutionary brothers, they look up to us.
Dallas.
They got several, so now, here is one, and the reason why I had to get this one is because all the other ones is all white looking. So I had to go get a $90 book just to get this original picture of her, which we don't see. So we have that, and we also have, we bringing this back this time, because for here is this god called Saint Martha. She got a big afro, and she's a protectionist, and this is a protection ritual. You need protection of Saint Martha, or Santa Martha. This is a form of Erzuli coming out of New Orleans in the southern part of the United States. So it's real powerful. You got a snake around her neck. You see what I'm saying? So you need to get a hold of these new ones, plus we got the old ones returning. And last but not least, we got this particular god who came just last week. And we had to go find a picture of him, and lo and behold, the German books that the brother bought, the 70 years old, they had a Greek one in there, And we got this one. He's from Phoenicia. And this is the energy of what's getting ready to happen. What's getting ready to happen, this particular entity came through last week. It's a doorway. He's going to really start coming through on the winter solstice. And what he's going to do is they're going to bring a whole realm back to the United States, back to the earth plane. It's called the fairy kingdom, or the fairy realm. Now, in ancient Hemmitt, you know it as the god Bess. It's also a form of the baby harvest, hopper crops. So they're bringing a whole fairy kingdom back, and it's a kingdom of music, happiness, joy, playful. And what they get ready to do, they get ready to redo the whole landscape of the earth. You won't even recognize it. It's going to be something mystical looking. It's going to be some real Disneyland shit right here. See what I'm saying? So this entity here is the god of the forest. Later on they degraded him into the devil. This is the god Pan. So he came real powerful deity. Real powerful deity. I mean, my sister Linda, he was fucking with her all last week to get his stuff right because he was coming. So this is one on the fairy kingdom you need to get a hold to, and all. So don't let these things pass. I got a lot of other ones. I got a lot of other ones that you can get. I got the black Buddha. I got the black Buddha back. I got the god Shiva. I got the black Buddha from Angkor Wat back. I have the god Shiva, dancing Shiva. That energy is on the planet. Real powerful. This god Hanuman, real powerful. Monkey god, you get him on your side, you can never be defeated. Some of y'all needed that when you went up in that courtroom and stuff like that. You know, and several other ones. So we're gonna go to a break right now. If you're interested in purchasing the picture, you can come through. They're only $5. But let me tell you something now. Especially that Pan and that Kuan Yin and these new ones, these Urzulis, they came for a reason. And I'm telling you, people get these things and stuff is working. You don't know when all of a sudden somebody done broke you off some money or done did this and stuff like that. It's because these things work. So take it or leave it, but I'm telling you, this stuff works. Especially when one comes to you and say, I want to go with the people. That means she's going to work for you. So that Pan and that Kuan Yin and that doorway, you got some stuff going on and you peer to that doorway, you got something, you rolling with something. So let's go to a break, and you know, get you something to eat, and come back and you can still roll.
How much time did you record this one?
What was it, 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yes. He wanted to go 2.5, but he was rolling.
Oh, for the first section?
Yeah. He was rolling, so I didn't want to stop him.
Just the roll.
Yeah, he's in there. That's my damn brother. He wait till I leave the fucking house and he comes.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm right in your ear. I'm sorry.
That's my brother. He wait till I leave the house and he come and raid my album collection.
Yeah, the plan. You sound pretty smart, man.
Yeah. He got a DJ tonight. He gonna raid my collection.
Why not?
Shit.
You got what you need, right?
Now I've gone and vandalized this shit too. So, but anyway, we back now. Just remember, there's this book called, and I talked about this one time, but I want to reiterate this now because the Americans really into something with this Iraq thing. It's not like people think it is. You need to revisit the Doom stuff, because it's very key. Frank Herbert's Doom, and especially if you can get the series, the Frank Herbert's Doom from the one from 2000.
Right.
It's off the chain. But you need to get the movie from 1984, Frank Doom from 1984. But you also need to get Frank Herbert's Doom from 2000 and Children of Doom from 2003.
Right.
That actually came about a couple of days before they went into Iraq. They showed Children of Doom. A lot of the stuff that is wrapped up. Yoo-hoo! Anyway, a lot of stuff that is wrapped up in this war and wrapped up in some stuff with us, is wrapped up in the Doom series. The Fremen, we are the Fremen. So just remember when you watch Doom and watch the Fremen, on both the movie from 1984 and the 2000 sci-fi series from Sci-Fi Channel, that notice the Fremen on Arrakis.
That's right.
And talk about spice. Now, although spice is dealing with in the movie Doom is dealing with, actually with melanin. But on the physical level, it's dealing with oil. Well, it's all the same thing. It's energy. So you need to get that, and you need to study that, because a lot of the stuff that's locked up in this Iraqi thing is in those particular movies. You see. In Children of Doom, the ultimate thing happened. The child, the boy, merges himself with the worm, Shai-Lu. The worm also represents the ultimate Kundalini energy, the serpentine fire inside of us. So when you put these things together, along with what's going on politically in the Iraqi war, you got a remnant of an insurgents over there, which is a form of the Fremen. But then again, they're doing the fighting, but the energy that is going on with that insurgents is connected with us as the Fremen over here. You see what I'm saying? So it's very key, not in the political term that we are connected with the insurgents actually fighting in Iraq, as far as we are connected as far as a physical unit, but on a spiritual level. That insurgents is playing off in Iraq, and if you look at it, it's playing off just like the movie. They overestimate something, or underestimate something, excuse me, and before they know it, the big mighty powers will not be able to take Iraq, and they'll never be able to come up out of there. Meanwhile, we are the real Fremen over here. Because even if there's a war going on in Iraq, there's also an occult war going on over here for the souls of the people. So all this stuff corresponds. One thing about Iraq is you need to go and get this book if you can ever find it. It's called In Search of Ancient Gods by Eric Van Daniken. He put out Chariots of the Gods in 1969. He came back with In Search of Ancient Gods. Dr. Blair talks about this book a lot. And Van Daniken's proof and evidence. Anyway, they got two figures on there, and I should have put them on the transparency. I should have made a poster out of it. But these are this is two figures that they raided out of the Iraqi museum, or the museum in Baghdad, was this Osirian alien-looking figure. Now these are coming from Baghdad Museum. They're thousands of years old. And here's another one of a goddess. Probably an alien-looking form of the goddess Ishtar. And this is a form of Osiris. Ishtar is the Sumerian or the Babylonian Isis, or Aset, or Heru, actually. Ishtar Hathor. 7 Ishtars, 7 Hathors. These are very key spirits. Anyway, this is the stuff that is going on inside that they actually robbed the museum to get. And it's in Van Daniken's book called In Search of Ancient Gods. They got several other pictures they might show, but now, because they raided the museum, you may never see these again. But they do have them. But anyway, what kind of stuff is this? Now this looks like some stuff taken straight out of a science fiction movie. But this is real artifacts coming from the Museum of Iraq, or the Iraqi Museum. You see, there's probably in some private collection somewhere, but the point I'm trying to make here is, whatever this is, and as strange as it is, they probably played their last card by going up in there, because they will never be able to come out. And although they might rotate some soldiers back home, they got to keep them there, and they got to keep this thing going, and it's going to break. It's the thorn in the side. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. It is the last outpost, and this is major. So it might look is acting on a political sense, but there's a whole spiritual force that's going on behind it. There's a whole spiritual realm that's going on. There's a spiritual war that's going on, and our side is victorious. You see, so this is major, but I wanted to put that back into evidence on some things that's actually happening. Moving right along. You'll see the book. There's a tape called Prophecy Through Reincarnation. We renamed it Africans in Asia. What's the guy's name? Eugene Adams. Anybody saw it? Africans in Asia by Eugene Adams. I put out some handouts of stuff. You can get in touch with me and get these things also. Africans in Asia by Eugene Adams. And anyway, he talks about the god Sambo. And Sambo is an Asian god, black god called Sambo. He talks about before there was any god, there was Sambo, and there's something called Sambo-Dasia. Anyway, Sambo is a later form of an earlier Rudra or Shiva. So Shiva is Sambo. And even in this book, The Triadic Heart of Shiva, they mention Sambo in this book, or Sambu, by Paul Eduardo. They mention that in this book, The Triadic Heart of Shiva. Just giving some heads up on this particular energy. Dealing with the Iraq thing, to let you know, one of the deities that came out of Iraq was the deity called Pazuzu. You know the one, the famous one that is depicted in the movie The Exorcist, Exorcist 1, Exorcist 2. And The Exorcist, the beginning, that came out last summer. Well, Pazuzu, to let you know that these things are active, about 3 weeks ago, a sister in Chicago by the name of Devana had a dream, and the word came up, Bonobets. B-O-N-O-B-E-T-S, Bonobets. And so she called and said, this word is coming up, Bonobets. I said, well, I'll get on and see, can we get it translated? And anyway, Bonobets is a new risen form of the god Pazuzu, which comes out of Iraq. So a lot of this stuff you see that's going up, a desert demon or a desert god. But when you get the older form, you get dealing with one that's mostly dead. But to get the new form, Bonobets, that's a new active deity. So these deities replicate themselves into new energies. You see, new energies. So it's real key how this thing goes down. It's just like you have 7 Ishtars, 7 Hathors, but the 7 Hathors or Ishtars came back on May the, I think it was May the 15th of 2003 as 7 entities, Ishtar, Monu, Noku, Mana, Titi, and Jova. And it ended up being 7 Ishtars. But the first one, Ishtar, came back as Ishtar. I-S-H-T-A-H, Ishtar. And then there's Monu, Noku, Mana, Inmatu, Titi, and Jova. These are 7 Hathors, 7 Ishtars. And they came back the night that they had a full eclipse on that night. I think it was May 15th. They had a full eclipse and they had Matrix Reloaded started that day. So, showing you that these entities return in new forms. They return in new forms. There's several of them. Since 2000, there's been at least 100 new deities that have returned back. So this stuff, but these things reside in us, in the microscopic makeup of our bodies, like take for instance, there's a guy that we talk about. His name is Omogumu. He's a general that sets over thousands of legions of entities. And he has a great warrior with him called Shumala. Omogumu now. When they say a legion means 10,000. A legion means 10,000. And so that means if he sets over thousands of legions and stuff, we're talking about millions. But where are they? The legions that they're talking about are nothing but yourselves. So on one hand, it's spiritual warriors, but they reside in you. You see, this is how this thing comes together. This is how this thing comes together. To let you know this stuff is live and well. So now let me go. I need to cut on this, and we can go to let's see, some things that's coming back. Before I do that, let me see a couple other things here. Some things that's coming back. I'll give you a couple other things right quick. Remember now, for everything that is going on when you go out in the street and you see the decay of black people, that is all for a reason. Those are the decoys. So there's a whole ritual line of decoys. And the decoy is a person to soothe the government's suspicion and put his mind at ease, because whenever he sees our people from the hee-haw to the bourgeois that basically don't present nothing on the level on what he's looking for, that sets up as a decoy and makes him very comfortable in his position, and his confidence, you see, overwhelms him. So it's a decoy. Okay, Lakshmi and Vishnu. All right. Yeah. Overwhelms him until we're able to go and do what we want to do, because he don't think that there's nothing virtuous in us. Although he's had prophecy, he's had all types of things to study us, until he sees something other than what he sees on the streets or the Negroes close to him. His mind is at ease. So in so many words, whenever we see our people and we get upset, just remember they are acting as decoys. So in so many words, in this cosmic drama, it all, coincides and evens out. You see what I'm saying? So this is how these things go on. It's just like one guy said years ago. He said, if it wasn't for the Uncle Toms, we would all be dead. So in so many words, now you got to understand chess. You have to understand any type of game. There's trickster figures, there's court gestures, and there's all types of things that's set up for certain reasons. You see what I'm saying? If you didn't have those things, you see what I'm saying? The people that's on top would automatically always win. You see? This man has set up himself in position over our lives, so if we didn't have these people close to him assuring him that there's nothing to be alarmed about, you see what I'm saying, then he would always win. But therefore, it's like the spook is set by the door. So just remember these decoys. So if it's getting real ridiculous out here, it means we're closer to what it's supposed to be, and the decoys are needed to still distract this doggone powers that be. You see what I'm saying? So this is interesting. Anybody saw the movie Animal yet? With Ving Rhames and Terrence Howard. Excellent movie on the Willie Lynch papers. You got to check it out.
Yes, it is.
Unbelievable. It's in the Blockbuster Hollywood Videos now. You can get it, the DVD. Animal. It's about Ving Rhames is a killer sent to prison, and Jim Brown, who's a revolutionary figure, wakes him up by telling him about the Willie Lynch letters and telling him he's a Willie Lynch invention. Says that he has to break the cycle because his son is out there, which is Terrence Howard, has become a killer just like he has. But he was saying it's a design based on the Willie Lynch letters. So now that's a major movie for that to be given to us at this particular time. He said that Hollywood wouldn't back him. He had to use his own money. And he actually wrote the story, but he had a writer to actually write it for screenplay, but it was his story. So, every now and then, he did a lot of crazy stuff, but every now and then, but you can redeem yourself by making at least one good thing that will stick, that will do pretty good. I like the one that Denzel did with the one that he directed, Anton Fisher. you know, with the way he had this family structure at the end of it. Yeah. So my point here is you got to have at least one, and they give you at least one. You know what I'm saying? They gave Spike Lee, you know, they gave him Malcolm, they gave him the Bamboozle and a couple things like that. They gave John Singleton Rosewood, and then you can tell they give him one and then say, you need to leave, nigga, and you do the regular things, but you know, we're only gonna give you one. Robert Thompson got Hollywood Shuffle, and I don't know where the hell he went after that, you know. I love the 5 Heartbeats, which was good, but I'm just trying to say they are allowed one. Now I know this to be true because even the guy Nas, the rapper, was saying how he was denied to do a little bit of stuff early on, but then they told him, you know, they have a actual committee that meets and go over their raps and make sure that there's nothing, you know, conscious or anything that's going to wake people up. They have a committee. And I think his last album, he was getting off of Columbia, and they had him do 1 or 2 songs on that last album, the Lost Letters or whatever. Lost Files. So my point here is, they give you a chance to do a little bit, but they regulate on what you can do. So Vang Rhames got this through, but he didn't get it through the movie thing as far as the theaters and stuff, but he did get it on video, and it's good. So that's one. It's called Animal, and it's out on video now. You see, so this is the way things go sometimes. Which is interesting here because one of the keys on this Christ mystery, and 2 reasons why the white boy won't back up off of it and keep it, because number one, the Son of God literally translate humans. The person that's going to bring this about is going to be humans. The only thing here is, the question would be, what kind of humans? Well, naturally it would be the original people. We all know that. But somehow, with them, to keep this grip going, they still want to keep that image of that European. You see what I'm saying? That image of the European and stuff like that. But basically, and I say that because I'm going to go into something in a few minutes, and I needed to deal with that because we're still talking about us and the humans. Now, one of the keys here is one of the images that's back, and the reason why Aleister Crowley was so celebrated was this particular god, Aiwass. Pay close attention to Aiwass. There's a book, Pyramids of Montauk, back there that the sister had. That is real key. It goes into the mysteries of Aiwass. One of the keys with this is a slab called a Stellar Revealing. Now, Crowley in 1904 went to Egypt with his wife Rose. Rose was telling him that this God was summoning him, and it was all about the child. He knew that the child was Horus, a Heru. So he went through the museum trying to have her pick out what God summons him through all these particular Egyptian artifacts. And before the museum was about to close, she pointed to this thing called a Stellar Revealing. This is the Stella. This is the Stella with Newt arched over it, the god Ra-Heru-Kahuti, or called Ra-Hoa-Kewit. And then it has this high priest right here that is actually giving offerings to Ra-Heru-Kahuti, or Ra-Hoa-Kewit. This is the actual Stella right here. The key what I'm trying to make here is this. He said that it was all about the child. Now the child is the child Horus or the child Heru. Now I want to get this, and I'll show you what is actually going on and how we can line things up, not only with scholarship or stuff that is going on that we reveal in this esoteric information, but what is going on right now this particular day now. He said the child was summoning him. The child is nothing but the god Harpocrates. The god Harpocrates, which is the child Horus. The baby Horus, baby Buddha, baby Krishna, baby Eros, baby Pan, or the baby Jesus. You see what I'm saying? Which is Horus or Heru. You see. Okay, now this was the child that was summoning him. Now, there's a a whole lot of mystery opening up with this particular entity. I'll get to that in a few minutes about the child. But I want to go back to this particular character here, these particular characters. I want to go back to this one right here. This particular priest is called Nakansu. Now, Nakansu is the priest in which this particular stela belonged to. It was a real Egyptian priest in the 26th dynasty of Nakansu. The key is it's a black man. This is a drawing, but if I was to present the real picture, this is the picture of a black man. I got color pictures, I don't know why I didn't. Of the skeleton. You've probably seen this ton before. This is a black man. One of the great mysteries of this is, apparently, the mystery here is not only Luke resides over all, which is the great mother, but this particular god is giving offering to the god Horus or Ra-Heru-MAAT or Ra-Heru-MAAT. In so many words, what this particular stela is saying is the embodiment or the soul that is inside of this black priest from the 26th dynasty was this particular God that he's praying to. So in so many words, this is the inside of what is on the outside. This is very key. And this is why Crawley and them knew it, and why Crawley in the latter times tried to make like it he was a reincarnation of Nakansu. Because for the first time, they actually, in translating this, they actually saw a living black man that was the embodiment of the god Horus. So in so many words, the story that was supposed to happen in Egypt, in Jerusalem, happened in the 26th dynasty with the priest. This is the real priest of Amun-Ra, Nakansu. So this is why Crowley is very celebrated. The other key here is not only Nakansu here, and Ra-Heru-MAAT or Ra-Heru-MAAT, but the god Awas. All of those are combinations of the same entity. Different aspects of the Christ, of Horus. So in so many words, the reason why they keep this particular figure as the head of their particular organization, which stretches all the way over the globe. There's OTOs all over. And why we have been excluded, and although they have been trying to get us down with it since 2000, is because they know that ultimately they worship this particular black man, and it's based on a certain bloodline. You see? So what I'm trying to say here is the great mystery why they celebrate Aleister Crowley is, for all what Jesus was supposed to be in Jerusalem, which was a fake story, because they got it from the ancient Egyptians and plagiarized their Gnostic texts, on this particular slab and this particular stela, they say it's this guy right here. Now, does this mean we're to look for another Messiah, or a person is the reincarnation of this particular man, Nakansu? No. Because although this particular person was the embodiment of the Christ in Egypt in the 26th dynasty, and I'll show you how this goes, the return of this particular person is supposed to be in all of us.
There you go.
As you can see, these wings right here resides over them, and this is the god called Hemmitt. And you will see the wings and you will see the black dot or a dot. This means for whatever this is taking place in the 26th dynasty of Hemmitt, ultimately it goes to this particular risen spirit, Hemmitt, which is the black dot or the pineal gland in all of us. Now in some esoteric books they say that the Christ can mean an individual figure that one can call, he's just a figure, that one can call the embodiment of Christ. We have many of them, Krishna, Buddha, you see what I'm saying? Several incarnations of the Christ. But it also says, and it quotes in esoteric tradition, that it's a race of future people. You see? a race of future people. In Egypt, they call it the Hemmitt beings. They call it the Hemmitt beings, ironically. H-E-M-M-I-T in Budge's book. You see what I'm saying? The Hemmitt beings. They call it this, the Hemmitt netters or the Hemmitt netters, but it's not talking about a person or one holier than thou Messiah. You'd ask Dr. York about that shit. You know motherfuckers saying this Messiah thing. You gotta be ready to back it up. Because when the cracker come, he coming.
That's right.
And then you be, you know, in jail begging them lawyers. It's not talking about an individual. That's too much for an individual to deal with. It's talking about a race of people. As a matter of fact, the new research now is coming. They're calling it the Horus species. And they're talking about the Horus species, they say, as what is called a, what they call it, uncombated DNA. A perfect, pristine DNA. They call it the Horus species. You see what I'm saying? Or the Heru species. So this is what this is dealing with. Now, but this does tell a story of this particular Nakansu, and this is his particular stela. This is his particular stela. You can get that. You can get some more reading on this book. Pyramids of Montauk talks about Nakansu and these different deities. But they say it was all about the child, Horus. Now this is very interesting. I'm going to show you something here. This is why this particular deity came. He's actually a little child. The child that they're talking about is not a new baby born on the planet. The child that they're talking about is the essence of a new soul or a new DNA that has all the potential to evolve. So this is more of a principle. The child is a principle of a new DNA. Now, Muhammad say that we would be made a new people. Well, good God, we know that to be true. Even if we just look at the modern African and take the most indigenous form of that and look at us, we are new people. You see what I'm saying? There would be made a new people. But the new people is called a baby. It's called the baby of the egg. That's why when he drew a picture that aired in Greenwich Village, New York, called Lamb, it was an egghead type of baby. And this was done, you know all the alien things you see with the same head like this, but you know, they have the big eyes. Basically, this appeared in Crawley's art piece in Greenwich Village, New York in 1919. The contact with Lamb, an extraterrestrial intelligence known to Crawley by the astral contact in 1919. His name was Lamb. Later on, all of the big-eyed type of entities became modified when the government started giving these big-eyed heads as what they call a prototype of the alien. They were talking about this. Crawley didn't see this as a physical person. He saw this as an astral entity. Now I'll show you some other big-head ones to let you understand where this thing coming from. So you can understand where this is coming from. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
And I'll get the tape and go back over it. I'm going to show you this, another big head of where it was coming from. We get ready to get into some serious stuff on this DNA and where this stuff is all going. It'll all tie in. Y'all all right? Just bear with me. Here's another big head person in the same vein. See what I'm saying? Crawley just so happened to see this figure, and then some said he might have liked it a little bit, just for the acceptance of a 1919 crowd in New York City. And later on, they took this, added big eyes, and made it into the alien you see. I think even in this book, Peter Moon's book, they got a picture of the same Lamb thing. So get this book, Peter Moon's Pyramids of Montauk. It's been out about 10 years. But about 10 years, we get this particular book because lamb is also in here on one page. But it's called a baby of the egg. The egg represents the potential. All of this is not the different representations of this. Harpocrats. The thing about that is this. It showed up 2 weeks ago or last week as the same baby, Pan. The goat god Pan. You say, well, the goat, what is a goat? That's the devil. Well, I thought in the Bible it said, Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. They talk about goats. He's born in a manger. You see, the motifs that fit the Christ is the motif that came from ancient deities, because this is a shepherd god. Then later on, the motifs came from the devil. So it's not far off if you get out of the theology of this, but the point I'm trying to make here is this particular Pan deity showed back up. And lo and behold, I said, well, what's the essence? He said, well, I'm this god, Harpocrats. The Phoenician form of that came from the pre-dynastic form of Set. Y'all getting this? Where's this all going? Where's this all going? The egg that they're talking about is the birth of the new DNA, or the changed DNA. You see, of the changed DNA. You see. And so all of this stuff, now, so I have to revisit these things, because when we get pictures, when we get actual transmissions from deities, ancient deities that come back, is actually talking about, you say, well, what does this have to do with me and us? What does he want? If you think of it outwardly, you get half of the story. Yes, you know something is good when you contact the deity, but in so many words, when these deities contact, or they come in contact with us, they're actually telling you just about where your soul is and where your soul is lining up. So the progress of your body and where you are, you can actually pinpoint where you are going and what your body is turning into based on what deities show up. So because this is this particular god of music, the god of music, the god of wine, the god of good times, the god of the forest, nature, and all of this, but it's also a symbol of a baby. And not only does he blow the flute, the god Krishna, a blue god Krishna, also blows the flute. Same essence. When these things here, what this means here is talking about creation, a new creation. You have to create with music. So what he said was, because what happened was is we found some statue in some Goodwill. You know, it was a Pan statue in the middle of Goodwill. So what happened was these white folks go and they buy all this expensive shit. They buy the pan, they buy all the stuff that we scared of, we don't know about. So then they donate all this stuff. So one of the places where they donated is rich people donated from Alpharetta, Georgia, like Bobby Brown lives out there, Whitney Houston, you know, all these Elton John and all these people, rich folks live out there, and the rich white folks. So they donated. So they said, well, we can't get this to certain parts of the black community don't recognize quality shit, the way they say. They say, okay, what we'll do is we will get it, put it in the Goodwill directly behind Spelman, Morehouse, Clark, Morris Brown, and Atlanta University, and maybe them Negroes can recognize some stuff of quality. This is the way white boy think. Knowing that hell, the average nigga out the ghetto always could dress. Right. You see what I'm saying? But it is right when it comes to the pan shit, because most niggas will look at that and say, that's the devil. So when it came in with them horns, I said, hell, it might have been up here a month when I saw it, but I knew nobody wasn't going to touch it. So we got this about 2 or 3 foot pan. So about 2 weeks ago, he said, I want to be put near the door and put me up high on an altar. So he started coming through. And so in so many words, he said, well, look, what we're going to do is, and so he said, we're getting ready to change the face of this earth into this enchanted, mystical land. I said, okay, now we're getting somewhere, because you got this baby, you got the winter solstice, which is the whole Jesus thing, Mithra or Horus born in a cave, born in the subconscious mind. Oh, something is getting ready to jump off on a genetic level. If you keep breaking this thing down, you see what I'm saying? On a genetic level. So this particular form of harvest, and it got the god Best, which is a transformed entity that also represents a fairy, represents a monster, or some type of gargoyle, or something from, and that just represents something from the other world that is over Horus with the Horus lock. So, he's standing on crocodiles. Crocodiles represent the chaos, melanin, the medulla oblongata. Jesus is anointed with olive oil, but in Hemmitt, Horus is anointed with crocodile oil. He's holding two scorpions, which is also representative of the scorpions can't harm him because of his extraterrestrial or because of his divine Christ-like powers. It's also in the Hercules series. They had a good Hercules came on about 2 months ago on the Sci-Fi channel. And they gave the Hercules v. Serpents. When they go back to his crib, he got the serpents in the hand, dead, or playing with them one. So it's talking about an indestructible energy. So everything on this particular stela what you see of the baby horse also represents the essence of the breakdown of what we are, or what's also in us on the DNA level. You see. So on the DNA level, I want to line all that up so we can go into what I'm getting ready to go into. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go into some other stuff. And go into some other stuff right quick. Yeah. Let me get my notes. Sit down and get this stuff right. A few things before we go into that is this. Some black teacher black professor in North Carolina was on C-SPAN, and he made the thing that what we need to do is kill all white folks. Said we need to execute all white folks. So I turned around and said, shit, we can't even execute a damn roach. We can't exterminate roaches right. And so on the internet, the white folks say the same thing. You know, black people can't even exterminate roaches in their house. How are they going to exterminate us? So let me tell you the trick on this. So immediately there became this argument on several websites on whether they should stick with this professor when he said we should execute all white people. And some other people were saying, well, you know, no, that's extreme. That ain't going to happen no way. Which is right. All the white man got to say is Jesus Christ. And your execution will be your own. If you get 200 Negroes and they come in to kill him and he turn around and say Jesus Christ, they'll turn on you and kill you. But anyway, to be realistic about this, they got this argument going on whether we should be exterminate white folks, which we ain't never been able to do. Whether we should, you know, take the spiritual path or whatever, but in so many words, the professor was made to do this because it come to find out that this same professor was able to sue St. Augustine University, which is a black college in North Carolina, because some white professor figured he was mistreated, and he used this black professor to help sue St. Augustine, the black college, for this white man. So this is the same nigga talking about kill all white folks. So what this thing actually means is what he's saying is don't get into the okey-doke. What it is this here. Let me show you what's happening with the clever thing. He will say kill all white folks. And they'll get black people to argument on these websites, on other forums. Meanwhile, the white man is monitoring.
That's right.
Okay. The white man is monitoring, okay, these people over here that's talking about killing, we can put them in the terrorist group. The other people that's talking about we need to do this on the spiritual thing, we need to look at them. They're putting them all on the terrorist group. And they're monitoring this thing. Meanwhile, it was a white man that started this argument in the first place by paying this nigga to say this on C-SPAN. Now come on, C-SPAN is the government shit. It's just like the Million Man,
March.
Million Mo March. Now here it is. This year, they got all these people. Everybody want to get their 15 minutes of fame. Even the niggas that's been has-been still want to get the spotlight. Everybody love the camera.
There you go.
Everybody love the camera. Jesse Jackson taught me that shit back in 1998. Well, he didn't teach me what it was. My roommate was Jesse Jackson's godson. So he taught me kicking every time. And I told him, I said, man, why is it every time something happens downtown, you run downtown, and when we turn on the 6 o'clock news, you all up in the middle of the camera. Brother named Maddox. Well, he actually turned me on to consciousness. He said, Jesse taught me that. He said, Jesse said, always go where that camera go. Always go where the camera go. You see what I'm saying? So everybody got their 15 minutes of fame on this so-called Million Man March. And you didn't see this shit with C-SPAN. And this year they got everything they across the screen, who they were and what they did. And I'm asking, who turned over a list of names to the C-SPAN government people to have a dossier on everybody who come up there, who they were and what they did? People ain't looking at this thing, they're thinking it's a form of liberation. And here it is a who's who of niggas with an attitude.
Right. All script.
All script. See what I'm saying? And he needs millions more to retire in Africa.
There you go. Pass around the bucket.
Pass to retire in Africa because it worked real good the last time. Because the last time they was going to indict him the Monday after the Million Man March of 1995. They was going to indict him for tax evasion. And he went to the march and passed the bucket and got $5 million and paid them motherfuckers. And over it did going to jail. And he said, shit, this is good. I'll get me my money to retire in Africa. C-SPAN helped, and they got all the niggas plastered across the screen. The only thing that hurt me was poor Dr. Ben up there slobbering at the mouth. Yeah. This is one of our great scholars slobbering at the mouth. Nobody understand what they got him picked it all up, and he's looking like hell half an acre. He said, fuck that shit. Anyway, that's the okie doke on how this thing goes down. Okay, we talked about the goddess Lakshmi. We talked about the goddess Lakshmi. That I've been telling you, the goddess of prosperity. The goddess of prosperity. This is the goddess Lakshmi. This is the museum in Paris, the East Indian goddess Lakshmi. And talked about her all last year, and a lot of people probably got some prosperity for this thing too. You see what I'm saying? Some people got rich. You see what I'm saying? Some people got rich.